So today we are going to be talking about the quadratic formula. And so this is used when you have a quadratic equation set equal to 0. So we're talking about one where the highest exponent is 2 on our variable. And here is the formula. So the form of our equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So a, b, and c are part of this equation. And this is our quadratic formula. Please don't let it intimidate you. It's really nothing more than just crunching some numbers, and you're going to see that in just a minute. So the formula is x is equal to negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So this fraction bar goes across everything, it underlines everything that's listed here on the top. Okay, so please write that down, pause the video if you have to, and we want to solve this problem using the quadratic formula. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I notice in actually all the problems I'm going to give you are going to be in this correct form. This is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. In this case, a is 6. B is 5. And C is negative 4. So now we're going to take our formula. The value for x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And all we're going to do right now is plug those numbers in, the a, b, and c that we have up here. So it starts off as negative b. Well, b is 5, so that means I'm going to write negative 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 in parentheses squared minus 4 times 6 times negative 4. And that's all over 2 times 6, which is 12. And I know you can probably hear my phone going off, so I'm going to turn that off right now. Okay, so now we can continue. So now let's go to the next part, which is actually just doing the math, doing the arithmetic. Let's start underneath this square root sign. So I have negative 5 squared. Well, negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Now I've got three numbers multiplied together. Negative 4 times 6 times negative 4. So let's do that. Negative 4 times 6 gives us negative 24, this part right here. And now we're going to say negative 24 times negative 4. And so that is going to end up being a positive, which is 96. So we're going to end up with 25 plus 96. And we're going to bring down the rest of our problem. Underneath, in the denominator, we have 2 times 6, so that's 12. So we can go ahead and write that down. Let's continue with what's underneath the radical. 25 plus 96 gives us 121. So we're going to bring down everything else. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our calculators, and we're going to take the square root of 21 and of 121. So what that means is we're looking for whatever number we can square to get 121. So you're going to take your calculator, and if you're using a calculator on your phone, you're probably going to have to turn it sideways And there should be a square root key, something that looks like this. It might look like this, all right? And you are going to type in the number 121 and hit that square root key, which looks like one of these. Okay? And when you do that, you are going to get 11. So we'll replace the square root of 121 with 11, and we're going to bring everything else down. Now the thing is, what this means, we have negative 5 plus or minus 11 over 12. That means that we're going to get two answers. One of them is going to be negative 5 plus 11 divided by 12, and the other one is going to be negative 5 minus 11 divided by 12. That's where what this plus and minus here does. Okay? So let's do the math on this. Negative 5 plus 11 gives us 6. So I get 6 over 12. Well, 6 twelfths. You can take 6 divided by 12 on your calculator. You get 0.5. So negative 5 minus 11 over 12 gives us negative 16 divided by 12. Okay, and again, you can just use your calculator. You're going to say negative 16 divided by 12, and you should get negative 1.33. Repeating. Okay, and so these are your two possible solutions. There are two possible solutions to this equation. Either x can be 0.5 or x can be negative 1.33. All right, so now let's go to another problem. So again, we have an equation of the form ax squared plus bx. Let me see if I can erase that. So we're going to say from this equation a is equal to negative 3, b is equal to 5, and c is equal to 2. So we're going to write down our quadratic formula. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I'll see if I can erase that. A piece right here. Okay, now let's go ahead and plug our numbers in. So when we start this problem, we're going to have negative 5 plus or minus, see if we can, the square root of 5 squared minus 4 times negative 3 times 2 all over 2 times negative 3. I don't know why the pen has started to act up. So I have negative 5 plus or minus the square root of, I'm going to simplify this, 5 squared is 25, Negative 4 times negative 3 gives us positive 12, times 2 gives us positive 24. And that is all over 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6. So let's continue with our simplification. So I get x is equal to negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 49 over negative 6. So I'm going to continue. Continue up here. So if we simplify, we have that x is equal to negative 5 plus or minus the square, well actually let's take our square root away because we can take the square root of 49. What number do you have to square to get 49? That would be 7. And again, you can do that right on your calculator. Type in 49 and hit the square root key. Okay? And that is all over negative 6. The plus and minus here means to make this into 2 problems. So we are going to have one answer that looks like x is equal to negative 5 plus 7 over negative 6. And x is equal to negative 5 minus 7 over negative 6. So let's do this out here. Let's finish the problem. So if we finish this up, negative 5 plus 7 is 2. And 2 over negative 6. 2 divided by negative 6. If you do that on your calculator, you're going to end up with, oh, I'm going to write this down here, negative 0.33. Repeating. Okay. Over here, we have x is equal to negative 5 minus 7 over 6, which is negative 12 over negative 6. So x equals positive 2. So these are the 2 possible solutions to this quadratic equation. X equals negative 0.33 and x equals 2. Now, we have one more problem we're going to try to do. And notice we don't have any number in front of our x squared, so we're going to put a 1 in front. So in this case, a is going to be equal to 1, b is 3, and c is negative 7. We're going to put the numbers into our quadratic formula. So let's start. If we put in b equal to 3, it's going to be negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 7, all over 2 times 1. If we continue, we are going to have negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared gives us 9. Negative 4 times 1 gives us negative 4 times negative 7 gives us positive 28, all over 2. I'm going to continue up here. So I've got x is equal to negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 37 over 2. And now we're going to use our calculator, and I'm going to say let's go to 3 decimal places. We want to take the square root of 37. So you're going to type in 37 and hit your square root key. And what I get on my calculator is x is equal to negative 3 plus or minus, I'm going to round to 3 decimal places, 6.083, all divided by 2. So now what I'm going to do is create my 2 problems that I know this plus and minus sign has me create. So I'm going to end up with x is equal to negative 3 plus 6.083 divided by 2, and x is equal to negative 3 minus 6.083 divided by 2. So when we do our math, we'll do everything in the numerator first. Negative 3 plus 6.083 gives us 3.083 divided by 2. And so let's just do that out on our calculator. So 6.083 divided by 2 gives us, I'm going to say let's round to our answer to 2 decimal places. Let's do our final answer to 2 decimal places. So I end up with 3.04. Okay. Over here, negative 3 minus 6.083 is negative 9.083 divided by 2. Which, if we go to 2 decimal places on our answer, it's going to be 4.54. Oh, negative. I'm sorry. I've got to write that in, and I want to erase this line too. Let me just rewrite it. We don't want to forget negative. So a negative divided by a positive, remember, is a negative. So I get negative 4.54. All right. So those are our 2 answers to this equation. This just takes a little practice. I know you're going to do great. Contact me with any questions.